Hello everybody, we are back today and we're going to be talking about the Boston Bruins and the fact that they are currently on a hot stretch, just having won their division and have some other accolades to possibly collect. Now before we start, I wanted to say please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new to me, new to hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you here along the way as I try to do this as a career. Now that being said, let's talk about the Bruins. And the Bruins basically are just unstoppable at this point, or at least it feels like it. They recently became the first team to clinch a playoff spot and are in a spot to where they actually became the first team to also win their division the other day. Of course, clinching that over the likes of the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is big because not only do they lock up their spot, but they lock up a higher seed, which theoretically means that they'll have an easier path to the Stanley Cup final. On top of that, they got a very big win over the Carolina Hurricanes 4-3 last night and pushed them closer to the top spot in the Eastern Conference with minimal time remaining. That is big not only for them, but of course Carolina, who has dealt with some blows with injuries in recent months. So good news there for Boston, bad news for Carolina. But it also means that Boston is theoretically closer to even more accolades, clinching the top spot in the conference. And in all likelihood, they are probably going to win the President's Trophy. This is huge because Boston was a club going into the year people had some hopes for. They were probably going to make the playoffs or at least be in the hunt. But they're showing that they are the best team in the league, at least through the regular season. What exactly does this mean going forward? And what does Boston have to play for? Currently for the Bruins, they have a lot to play for. They have a long winning streak right now. It's at 7 games, and they actually just need 6 more wins in the final 9 games of the regular season to break the record for most wins in a season. That is a daunting task, absolutely, but something more of an accolade. You could look at this club, and any year you have a club that goes to playoffs, that's good. They end up winning the division, great. Go on to be the best record in the conference, amazing. Having the President's Trophy, the best of the best for that year. But to have another accolade like this, to be the best team ever, that of course would be up for debate. To be the best team in terms of most wins in a season would be absolutely massive, and the Bruins have been able to do it in large part with these long winning streaks throughout the year. And for them, they have plenty left to play for, as we can see. Maybe they go on to win the 63 games. I know it's going to be tough to win these games against some good teams that they play, but if they are able to win 63 games, they will make history. That works in 2 ways. Let's see that they go on to win that 63rd game. They have something to play for, not only just to be the best team of the regular season. If you go on to win the Stanley Cup, you are arguably the best team of all time. I know people get mad, say no, it's different for different eras, but the facts stand at this. They would be one of the best teams of all time, if not the best, with the wins that they've been able to rack up and the fact that they would be able to get the job done when it matters most in the playoffs, which has been kind of a concern for these very, very good Boston teams over the year. Now, having said that, let's say that the more probable thing happens where they don't win all 6 games that they need to win more than the 1995-96 Detroit Red Wings that won 62 games. Not the biggest deal. I think that they very well could tie the record. Winning the record or getting past Detroit from that year would be very difficult. To win 6 games out of 9 in hockey is very difficult to do, regardless of whatever team it is. But they do have some very big games coming up here against teams like the New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. All clubs have a lot to play for, especially Pittsburgh, a team that might not be higher up in the standings like the Devils and the Rangers. They are fighting for the playoff lives. Why exactly would it be a good thing if down the stretch Boston ended up breaking the record? Well, because they're getting to play some pretty good competition here down the stretch. Teams like New Jersey and the Rangers especially, I think, are good measuring sticks to see where Boston is going to be come towards the playoff time. And with playoffs being right around the corner, you want to be able to say, yeah, we took care of business against these teams that we very well could see in the playoffs. As for Pittsburgh, that's really a good thing, I think, in my opinion, to be able to play a club that is in that do-or-die situation where if we don't win this game, we very well could be headed for a long off-season. In Pittsburgh, that's not normal in the past 15 years plus. So I think that's good, and I think for them, I honestly want to not break the record because then you could say, you know what, boys, we had an incredible year, and we almost made history. We almost did. But we didn't, and now we got to go in there and prove that while we might not be the team that had the most wins in the regular season, we're still one of the best teams of all time, and we will get it done when it matters most. Because like I said in this video, Boston's not been able to get it done when it mattered most since that 2011 season. Had some incredible runs. They lost to Chicago in 2013, and that was, of course, part of Chicago's dynasty. And then they lost to a St. Louis Blues team that, while was hot, definitely was not up to that Bruins level that I think a lot of people expected. And when Boston won one of those early games in the series, like 7-2, might have been in game 3, a lot of people were expecting another coronation as champions for the Bruins. Didn't happen, and we're still waiting for this. You have guys like David Krejci, Patrice Bergeron. All these guys want to, of course, be part of history, but they're in a spot where they need to focus on the bigger accolades. Will they get 63 wins? Like I said, I'm leaning towards no, especially when you have teams like the Devils, Rangers, and Pittsburgh to play down the stretch. Those are 3 games out of the remaining 9 that are going to be daunting. You drop a game somewhere else, it's no big deal. But like I said, who cares about that record if you don't end up going to win the Stanley Cup? If they're able to go on and win that 63rd game and go on and win the cup, yeah, you're in that spot where you could argue the best team ever. If they don't and they go on and win the cup, nobody cares because you're looked at as champions. They don't say, well, you know, they crumbled when it mattered most in the regular season. Regular season's great, but as we've seen from some Los Angeles Kings teams, it's not really about how you get there as long as you finish through the finish line and get to be that champion. So we'll have to see. What do you think, though, for the Boston Bruins? Should they be focused on the 63rd win? Should they really just be focused on those measurements games against teams like the Devils and the Rangers, stuff like that? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night, and you go of hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.